So hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. How have you been? So on this channel we're all about growing food and using what we grow. So today I'm going to show you guys how I grow and use my Okpa or bambara nuts as it is known in some places. So if you're interested in that, keep watching. So this is me going around the farm checking the plants to see if they are ready for harvest. I'm just going to go around and check. If they are ready, then I'll begin to harvest them. So Okpa is a legume. Obviously it is a type of pea, not a bean. It grows on the ground, as in the pods are on the ground, just like groundnut. So here I am checking out the plant. When it is ready for harvest, the leaves begin to become very rough and tough. As you can see, this one has done quite well, and the leaves also begin to brown a little bit. So if I go right ahead and uproot one, you can see how it looks like on the ground. You can see the pods are white with some streaks of brown, and that is to show you that they are ready. They look white now, but when they are dried, as you will see later, they become brown in color. So I'm going right ahead to continue harvesting because they are quite ready. So when you open the pods, this is what it looks like inside. And another way to test if they are ready is if you press it in between your fingers. They will be quite firm. So this is what the pea looks like inside. When you press the pod with the pea together between your fingers, it is quite firm. That is another way to know that your peas are ready for harvest. So this is the quantity of Okpa I was able to get today, although I ended up harvesting a full bag of it. So the Okpa is now totally dry. As I told you before, when it dries it becomes brown in color. So the next step is to separate the pods from the seeds. Of course you can break it with your fingers, but then if you have a large quantity like this, you have to do it this way so that it will be easier. So you just put it in a mortar and proceed to pound it. It will burst the pods and the seeds will be exposed. So when the pods are fully separated from the peas, you want to go ahead and winnow it with your tray and the help of the wind or Mother Nature. And after winnowing, you dry it some more so it can keep for long. So I'm going to take it to the mill to grind it into powder. Of course you can store it as dried peas. You can also store it as powder. So this is at the mill where it is being ground into powder. So this is what the powder looks like after it has been milled. So this powder, once it is in an airtight container, it can actually keep for about 2 months. So now to the fun part, we're going to convert this Okpa into something edible. So join me. So first of all, we're going to sieve the powder. After grinding it at the mill, you want to sieve it because there are still some particles. You milled it together with the bark and everything, the endosperm and all that. So we're going to sieve it to get as fine of a powder as possible. So next we are going to add our palm oil, or red oil as some people call it. And when making up, you have to be careful with your red oil because substandard oil will totally change the taste and you will not like it. So we're going to go ahead and add our oil and mix it in thoroughly. So when you add your oil, you want to go in with your hands and begin to mix thoroughly, sort of kneading it a bit. And as you mix, you will notice that small balls begin to form. And you have to use your fingers to crush them and mix at the same time. That's why you have to use your hand. For this process, you cannot use a spoon or a spatula because you need to crush all these balls. You can see them as you mix so that you get a smooth paste at the end. So if you have done your mixing well, this is what your okpa should look like when you finish mixing. You can see it looks like a damp powder right now. That's what it should look like. So we're now going to go ahead and add our salt to taste. Some people will normally add crayfish, but I don't really like crayfish in anything apart from soup. So add my salt and stir. Now at this point you can use a spoon. Then add pepper. I like pepper. You can use any type of pepper. So here I'm using the red pepper. Remember our kettle that was on the stove? It is now very warm. We're not going for boiling water. We're going for very warm water or just hot water. Then want to pour it into our powder mixed with oil and salt and pepper and begin to stir. Mix just as you would when you are dissolving pap, when you are dissolving akamu. So as you mix, you also notice some of the balls are still there. So you go in with your spoon and sort of crush them the way you would if you are dissolving pap. Normally you use your spoon to crush any solid particles. So it's the same way here. As you mix, you crush them and make sure your mixture, by mixture, is very smooth. And then you also observe the thickness. You can see this is quite very thick. This is not the consistency we're going for, so we're going to add more water. So you can see I've added more water and I continue mixing vigorously, making sure everything is dissolved. We want a very smooth liquid. And guys, I want you to notice the consistency. It has to be watery like this. If not, your okpa will be very, very strong and hard to eat. The consistency has to be very watery. So next we'll set water in a pot on the fire to boil to cook the okpa. So we'll just set the pot with the water only on the fire. So I'm going to go ahead and begin to divide the okpa. So normally people will use banana leaves or Okpa leaves, which are not on hand right now. I couldn't find them. But commonly people use nylon bags. So that's what I'm going to use right now. However you want to do it is up to you. So basically just divide it up into manageable sizes. And remember, you are doing this while your water is heating on the stove. And it is good for us to note at this point that okpa is very, very high in protein, and it is especially good for those that have diabetes because it has some very healthy sugars in it, like all peas do. So it is a very, very good source of protein, and you don't have to eat a lot to be full because it can be quite filling, and it makes you drink loads and loads of water. So I think we're done here. So we're just going to take our prepared okpa to the stove to check if the water has boiled. So as I open the pot, as you can see the water is boiling. And this is the tricky part. You don't drop it into warm or just hot water. The water has to be boiling when you drop it. And also remember to shake it because okpa has this notoriety for settling very easily. So you have to shake it to mix it up and drop it into the boiling water. After just 10 minutes, your okpa is done. Doesn't take time at all. So you can go ahead and enjoy it like that with water or with pap. It goes very well with pap. Yeah. So this is it for you. Very, very nourishing breakfast or dinner, depending on you. Of course, you can also pack it in your children's lunch box so that they will eat it during lunch, which is very filling and nutritious. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you have learned one or two things. Support us by subscribing, commenting, liking and sharing to encourage us and to help us grow. So see you in the next one. Bye.